I'm VJ Hamilton and welcome to the Autoimmune Reset, the place for you to learn how to thrive with autoimmune disease and feel empowered to take steps to transform your health to feel better than ever. You can start making changes today to improve your health. So with every episode, my mission is to share with you simple ways to up-level your diet and lifestyle with key learnings from my own journey reversing autoimmune disease and inspirational stories from those who have reset their autoimmune symptoms and are now thriving in life. I suffered from autoimmune disease for over 25 years and now I live symptom-free, and I wish the same for you as well. So thank you for being here and sharing this time with me. Now let's get started. Hello and welcome back to this Friday 5 episode of the Autoimmune Reset podcast. This is your quick hit of autoimmune and nutrition insights to carry you into the weekend. I'm VJ and today I want to share something that's been really close to my own heart, and that is the role of mindset in hair loss recovery. Because if you've been on this journey yourself, you'll know how consuming it can feel, and I have been there too. Those moments of panic when you notice hair shedding. For you, it might be in the shower. I used to find it on my coat, and you might find extra hair in your hairbrush. This can cause a lot of stress. And I know I used to think about it all the time, and I'd realised that I was actually making it so much worse by thinking about it all the time. And I've spoken to lots of clients about this, that letting go and having faith in your body and having faith in the process makes such a big difference, but it's not easy. And I'll be honest, I thought for a long time that hair loss recovery was all about diet, the supplements I was taking and protocols. What I've learned both personally and working with clients is that mindset is just as important as any supplements that I would recommend. So today I'll walk you through 5 simple but powerful mindset shifts that can help lighten the load, reduce stress, and make this journey feel all that bit empowering. And this goes for whether you have alopecia areata, whether you have a different type of hair loss, or to be honest, if you are living with a chronic illness and chronic symptoms, because the same stress applies in that scenario as well. So the first one is to break that stress loop, which is not easy. And I'll be honest, in the early days of my own hair loss journey, the stress loop nearly broke me. And as I said, I would be thinking about it all the time. I would panic if I saw that there was hair on my coat, and I would use a mirror and be checking whether I had any hair loss, feeling around in my head. It was just a constant thought. It was always there. And the truth is, our bodies can't heal when you're locked in that fight or flight response. And every time you are thinking about something like that, you are triggering stress in your body and making your body feel unsafe. And that is where you can start to spiral. And the truth is, if you pause and take some breaths or distract your thoughts and do something that makes you feel better and makes you feel happy, then it's going to make a big difference. So if you are caught in that spiral of thoughts, then what activity can you do to take your mind off that? And for example, if you have pets, just stroking your pets or taking your pets out and walking in nature, or going outside and looking at nature, or doing a Pilates class or something where you are completely thinking about something else, can really help to reset that thinking pattern. And this sounds small, but it really can make such a difference, because when you're doing those types of activities, you're telling your body it's safe. In order for your hair to grow, your body needs to feel safe. Lots of people will not be experiencing hair loss and may not be feeling safe, but I know personally, and I've seen this in clinic as well, when my clients start feeling more confident, when they start feeling more secure, when they start feeling more empowered, that's when they see that sustainable hair growth. Next is to reframe your triggers. And for example, I would use a mirror, and that became such a stress in and of itself, because that was when I could see the patches, because my patches were at the back of my head. I could feel them and that would create some stress, but also seeing them created some stress. And the truth is, tracking your hair growth is important, and you can even do that by feeling. But if you are triggering yourself and having more stress all the time, then that can impact your health and impact your recovery. And I know many people who are listening to this, if you are experiencing hair loss, that mirrors or reflections or seeing the patch can be the thing that triggers you. I really think over time, I've realized that changing your story around what's happening is really important. And it's not about avoiding your reflection. It's about getting more at peace with that. So instead of seeing them that there's something wrong, it's treating those moments as check-ins for progress or check-ins for insights. And that's something that I've learned to do in my own health, not just with alopecia, but actually with chronic fatigue and other issues that I've had that I didn't want to face up to. But when I did, I realized it was information and telling me things about my body. It really helped, and it stopped me panicking, to be honest. It was almost like working on a puzzle and putting all the puzzle pieces together to understand what I needed to do for myself. So sometimes the answers are not always obvious, but you can treat it as information, which is important. And by doing that, you can reframe what is happening. And reframing might look in practice like you take a trigger, you take something that causes you stress, but rather than you feeling danger and feeling insecure, you can turn that, as I said, into information. So instead of falling into blaming yourself or feeling fearful, you can use it as a prompt to offer your body some care or support. So if you do see something happening, hopefully it's more of a motivation to do something for your own health. And here are some things that you can try if you notice that you're feeling stressed or you notice that you're starting to feel anxious about something. Ask yourself a few questions like, why am I feeling like this right now? What does my body need at this moment? And what is one small thing that I can do in the next 5 minutes to feel safe or more supported? And that might be going back to the first point about breaking the stress loop, finding those activities that make you feel more calm. Next is to focus on what you can influence. And I'd say out of all of them, this is the one that's made the biggest difference for me, because we can't control when or how fast hair growth comes back. And I realized that over time. And I realized that letting go was so important rather than feeling frustrated. And that was when I started thinking about the things that I could control, like working on my diet or making sure that I'm getting enough exercise, or making sure that I'm nourishing my body and having plenty of time to relax and caring about myself. And once I started making a plan and even following a nutrition protocol, I suddenly felt more at ease because I knew I was doing all the right things for hair growth. And I couldn't control, in a sense, how quickly my hair was going to grow back, but I could control the choices that I was making on a daily basis. And I had complete faith in the process. Once I started changing my health for good, I had faith in the process. I did see some results during that time, but I didn't have full commitment or full faith in the process. And I would say in my early 30s, I just decided to go all in. And that's really when I saw the biggest difference. So it's not about just focusing on the results. It's about thinking about what you've been able to change and what you're doing at the minute for your health, and congratulating yourself about that, and having faith that over time that's going to make a big difference. Next is to practice self-compassion, and it really goes hand in hand with the last suggestion, because if you take one thing from this episode, let it be this: stop blaming yourself. And I would say this especially to parents if you have a child with alopecia. I find that a lot. This is not your fault, and it's not your fault if you have hair loss either, but you can make changes for yourself. And you can learn more about yourself and find out what works for you. And I certainly blamed some of my activities and the things I was doing on my hair loss. And yet they might have contributed to it when I'm looking back, to be honest. But the truth is, sometimes we need something to happen to make us make changes. And it's not about feeling guilty and blaming yourself. It's about, well, what can I do going forward, and how can I appreciate what I have been trying to do for my body? And for me, it's just as simple as repeating that my body has the most amazing ability to heal. When anything happens to me, and there have been things that have happened to me even outside of my autoimmune conditions in the last 10 years, and I've had complete faith that my body knows what to do when I give it the right nutrients and I give it the nourishment that it needs. And we all have that capacity. So be kind to yourself. You're doing the best that you can in this moment. Don't blame yourself for anything that is happening. And lastly, probably the one that is the most difficult is to hold the long view. And I know how much you will want quick results, and I did as well. You just want it to reverse. You might have plans and you might have set a date of this is when you would like your hair to grow back. I know I did, and it didn't by that date. And that was frustrating for me and upsetting. But I just continued on with what I was doing. My fatigue had got better. My skin was getting better. I felt so much better. I suddenly had my brain back. There were so many things I could be celebrating. And I was a bit gutted when it didn't grow back by the date that I wanted it to. But I just kept going. And that's when it suddenly grew back. And because it was past that date, I'd almost forgotten about it. And by the time it grew back, I just thought to myself, okay, let's see if this lasts a year. By the time that year came round, I had actually stopped thinking about it at that point. It was only because we were going away on holiday and I was just thinking about it and realising that I wasn't having to consider, about how to put my hair up and all the other things that I would often consider if I had a patch. Yeah, it's all about holding that long view, because recovery is never a straight line. You might find that your hair grows back and then comes out again. You might have seen some growth, but it hasn't been able to grow past a certain length, or it's been vellus hairs, or you just had fine hairs. I mean, your body is trying its best, and it is a good sign if you are seeing some form of growth. The hair follicles are doing their best to work. There's just probably a little bit more work to do around that, and to keep going and keep being consistent, because the truth is, it is the small things that I have done in my life and done them consistently that have made the biggest difference. Not doing everything perfectly, not going all in for 2 months. It's just small things that I have changed over time that have made a significant difference in my health and my hair growth. So that's your Friday 5. 5 ways mindset can completely transform the way you approach hair loss and approach hair regrowth as well. And it's so much more than just considering regrowth. It's about feeling calmer, stronger, and more in control along the way. And when you keep the long view in mind, every small step becomes part of a bigger story of healing. And I know that can feel easier said than done, especially when you're doing this on your own. And that's exactly why I have created a new group called the Root Reset Circle. And it's a community space where you're not just getting protocols and plans, but it's a space for us to come together to support each other through hair loss. We'll be meeting every week on Zoom at a time that is appropriate for anybody who is based in the UK, Europe, or the US. I'd love you to join it. There will also be an exclusive WhatsApp group that you can join. Plus, you will have access to an exclusive portal, and I will be putting on there educational content around hair loss. So not only will you have the live sessions, but you'll be getting some educational content so that you can start making changes for yourself and helping with hair growth. I know I went through this process alone for many, many years, and having a supportive group of like-minded people who are going through this makes such a big difference. And if you're interested in this, now is a really good time to join. If you sign up by the 6th of October, you'll secure the founder's rate, and I'm giving 50% off the membership fee if you want to sign up early, and you will keep that reduced rate for as long as you stay in the Root Reset Circle. So it is a good time to sign up. I'd love you all to be part of it. I really enjoy speaking to you and supporting you. and understanding what you're going through and what you need. And I will be sending out messages, finding out what you want to talk about. So as much as we'll have this session for us all to be part of, I'm there to answer any questions as well. And I can I'll be bringing to the sessions certain subjects which I know are going to be particularly helpful. So you will find more details of that in the show notes. If any of today resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Come and share that with me on the Instagram account for the podcast, which is at the Autoimmune Reset. And if you know someone who's struggling with hair loss, please share this episode. Sometimes hearing that they're not alone makes all the difference. Wishing you a wonderful weekend. I will speak to you soon. Take care. Thank you very much for joining me today on the Autoimmune Reset. I really hope you enjoyed the discussion, and be sure to subscribe to the podcast so that you never miss an episode. And if you liked it, I would hugely appreciate a review on iTunes, as it helps me understand what you like about the podcast and to help share the information with more people. I'm excited to speak to you next time, and remember, you have the power to take the reins on your health. So keep the faith and celebrate the small wins. Until next time.